Welcome to the UFO Enigma, where the mysteries of the universe unfold before your eyes. Dive deep into the unexplained, the uncharted, and the unimaginable as we explore the thrilling world of UFOs, extraterrestrial encounters, and the secrets of the cosmos. From breathtaking alien encounters to jaw-dropping stories of humanity's place in the universe, we bring you captivating tales that challenge everything you thought you knew. Do you believe we're alone? Or is there more to the stars than meets the eye? Join us on this extraordinary journey where truth, science fiction, and mystery collide. Hit the subscribe button and stay curious because the truth is out there, and we're just getting started. The crimson sun hung low in the sky, casting long, jagged shadows across the desolate landscape. The alien terrain was a twisted fusion of towering rock formations, strange luminescent plants, and jagged, uneven ground. The air was thick with a strange, earthy scent, mingling with the crisp tang of burning wood. A campfire crackled rhythmically in the center of the clearing, sending flickers of light dancing across the surrounding darkness. The smell of roasting meat, rich, smoky, and hearty, filled the air, overpowering the natural sense of the alien world. Lieutenant Liam Drake, a battle-hardened human soldier, sat crouched by the fire, tearing into the leg of a massive predator. The creature's hide was a patchwork of deep red and black, its once menacing eyes now dull and lifeless. The sheer size of the creature, easily the size of an elephant, made it seem out of place in the alien wilderness. The deep, meaty flavor of the creature's flesh seemed to reinforce Drake's confidence, a man who had fought and conquered this ruthless world. Narrator, Liam's thoughts, with a tone of grim satisfaction. The creature had fought hard, but in the end, like everything else on this god-forsaken rock, it had learned not to mess with humans. The camera zooms in on the carcass of the shadow stalker, its once sharp claws and jagged teeth now reduced to nothing more than a mutilated heap of meat. A makeshift spit, hastily constructed from twisted alien branches, slowly rotated over the fire, turning the leg of the creature like a twisted symbol of victory. Liam casually wipes a drip of meat juice from his chin with the back of his hand, savoring the rich flavor. Nearby, his battle-worn armor, dented and scratched from previous encounters, lies carelessly on the ground. The heavy metal plates reflect the dying crimson light from the setting sun. The remnants of his plasma pistol and combat knife glint beneath his armor, reminders of the violent skirmish that had led to this moment. Suddenly, the air around the camp feels charged. A soft, otherworldly hum punctuates the heavy silence, followed by the soft crunch of footsteps in the rocky terrain. A figure emerges from the shadows, a woman, poised and elegant, stepping lightly onto the scene. Avia Starweaver enters the frame. Her silvery hair, so fine it shimmered like a halo, caught the last rays of sunlight, making her look almost ethereal against the strange violet hues of the twilight sky. Avia's eyes an unnaturally deep shade of purple widen as she takes in the sight of the massive creature's leg roasting over the fire. She's speechless at first, her shock mirrored in her alien features. Drake, grinning, holding up a piece of roasted meat. Want some? It's good. Tastes like a mix of venison and buffalo. Avia, in disbelief, her translator clicking in. That's a shadow stalker's leg. Her voice trembles slightly, clearly awestruck by what she is witnessing. The translator hums a soft rhythm as she struggles to process the reality of it. Drake, with a nonchalant shrug. Yeah. Nasty piece of work. Tried to ambush me while I was checking the perimeter. Had to teach it some manners. Avia steps forward hesitantly, her purple eyes scanning the charred remains of the creature. She takes in every detail of its size and the manner in which Drake has expertly cooked it, a mix of awe and disbelief crossing her face. Avia, softly, with awe. "You killed a shadow stalker, alone?" Drake, casually taking another bite. "With my knife and plasma pistol. But, to be honest, it was mostly hand-to-hand after I ran out of plasma charges." Avia stares at him, a flicker of admiration and disbelief in her eyes. Drake pats the log beside him, inviting her to sit. Drake, grinning. "Come sit." "I'm Liam Drake." "You are?" Avia, pausing, her voice still filled with disbelief. "Lieutenant Avia Starweaver. I was sent to deliver your supplies and check on your status." "I didn't expect this." Avia hesitates for a moment, glancing once more at the roasting meat, then, almost reluctantly, sits beside him. The firelight dances in her eyes, highlighting the curve of her cheekbones and the delicate sharpness of her features. Drake, laughing lightly. "What? You never had shadow stalker steak before?" The camera shifts, capturing the two of them in the dim light of the fire. The crackling sounds of the campfire grow louder, as the heat from the fire brings a comforting warmth to the cool evening. Avia watches Drake closely, her gaze lingering on his confident, almost careless manner as he continues to feast. Avia, after a pause, speaking with a hint of curiosity. "Our warriors, they say the shadow stalkers hunt in packs. They're nearly impossible to kill." Drake smirks, clearly amused by her naivete. He takes another bite of meat, savoring it slowly before responding with a confident chuckle. Drake, smirking, with a hint of bravado. "Impossible? Nah. Everything dies if you hit it hard enough in the right spots." Avia's expression shifts, a mixture of fascination and disbelief in her eyes. She studies him more closely, her purple gaze scanning him for any hint of vulnerability. Avia, softly, in wonder. "You really aren't afraid of anything, are you?" Drake, chuckling, his voice rich and warm. "Afraid? Where I come from, we've got creatures that make your shadow stalker look like a house pet." He leans back against the log, his eyes glinting with a playful challenge. Avia, raising an eyebrow, intrigued. "Where's that?" Drake. "Australia. Trust me, that's something to be afraid of." Avia lets out a soft, melodic laugh. It is almost musical, yet filled with disbelief. Avia, shaking her head, a smile tugging at her lips. "I didn't expect a human to be so fearless." The scene lingers for a moment, both of them caught in the gravity of their shared understanding. They are from two entirely different worlds, yet in this moment, they are bound by something more profound than either expected. The once serene alien landscape is now shrouded in an eerie stillness. The crimson sky, which had been tinged with the warmth of a dying sun, begins to darken rapidly, as if the planet itself is preparing for something ominous. The air grows thick, charged with an unnatural tension that wraps around the camp like an unseen force. Drake's instincts, honed by years of combat and survival, flare to life. The faint, rhythmic hum of the wind, once gentle and soothing, has ceased. The very essence of the alien world feels wrong. The rustling of leaves and the scuttling of creatures have come to an abrupt halt. The moment is heavy, suffocating even, and Drake stands up slowly, his muscles taut, every sense alert. Drake, his voice low, tension lacing his words. "Something's wrong. The wildlife's too quiet." Avia, her expression shifting from curiosity to concern, immediately checks her equipment. Her fingers dance over the controls of her communicator, eyes scanning the readings. The deep purple of her irises flashes in the low light as she works, her face growing darker with every second. Avia, her voice tight with the weight of the unknown. we've got a mega storm coming from the north. A pressure drop. And something else. The words hang heavy between them. The air is oppressive, as though the planet itself is holding its breath. Drake's gaze shifts to the horizon, where the once clear sky is now a chaotic mix of swirling black clouds and a streak of sickly green that seems to pulse with a life of its own. A cold, unnatural wind picks up, carrying the scent of something darker. His gaze sharpens. Suddenly, a low growl rumbles from the distance, reverberating through the ground. It's low, guttural, and filled with menace. The sound causes a shiver to crawl down Drake's spine, despite his practiced calm. His heart beats faster, and he instinctively grabs for his armor, his fingers brushing the cold metal with urgency. Drake, muttering under his breath, his voice a blend of disbelief and recognition. Shadow stalkers. A whole pack. They must have tracked the scent of their dead pack mate. His eyes narrow, scanning the encroaching darkness. His grip tightens on his plasma pistol. The growls grow louder, closer, the shadows themselves seeming to shift with the movement of the creatures. The wind howls as the storm hits, dark clouds swirling violently overhead, obscuring the last rays of sunlight. The air is thick with the crackle of the oncoming storm, charged with static energy that fills the atmosphere with a dissonant hum. The ground beneath their feet trembles with the approaching fury. The first drops of rain begin to fall, but they aren't droplets of water, no. These are acidic beads that hiss as they touch the ground, evaporating into a stinging mist. Drake's eyes dart around the encroaching darkness, his senses on fire as the growls grow louder. The pack of shadow stalkers is closing in. The creatures, massive and predatory, emerge from the shadows, their glowing eyes flickering like hellish orbs. Their movements are swift and stealthy, as though they've adapted to the storm, using it to cloak their approach. Their obsidian scales gleam in the dim light, and their spiny quills shimmer with an unnatural edge. The pack spreads out, flanking the pair from every angle. Drake, his voice cold and commanding. Run. To the shelter. Without waiting for Avia's response, he begins sprinting, his armor clanging with every movement as he races toward the reinforced shelter ahead. Behind him, Avia follows, her sleek form moving with practiced speed. Her breath quickens as she keeps pace, but the sound of the approaching predators' loud, thundering footfalls mixed with the growls of the shadow stalkers makes her heart race in her chest. Just as they near the shelter, a shadow stalker lunges from the darkness, its massive form tearing through the storm. Its claws gleam with deadly precision as it leaps at them, its hungry growl echoing in the air. Drake spins on instinct, his body moving fluidly, pushing Avia into the shelter's entrance as the creature's claws scrape against his armor. The beast's rancid breath is hot against his face. In a flash, Drake draws his combat knife, its blade gleaming in the flickering firelight from the shelter's entrance. The creature lunges again, but this time, Drake is ready. With a swift, practiced motion, he drives the blade into its eye with a sickening squelch. The beast shrieks in agony, its body convulsing violently before collapsing to the ground, lifeless. Drake steps back, his breath coming in sharp, controlled bursts. He watches as the creature's massive form slumps in the storm, its glowing eyes fading to darkness. He doesn't wait. With one last glance at the pack's advancing shadows, he slams the shelter's door shut just in time. Inside, the two of them stand, panting heavily. The sound of the storm outside is deafening now, the wind battering against the reinforced walls, the growls of the remaining pack echoing through the night. Avia, her voice breathless, filled with awe. "You saved my life." Drake, still caught in the adrenaline of the fight, looks at her with an almost casual expression. He shrugs, wiping the sweat and rain off his face. Shrike, quietly, as the storm rages outside. You would have done the same. For a moment, there is silence. The only sound is the storm outside, the wind howling, the rain hissing as it melts against the shelter's outer walls. The shadows of the shadow stalkers can still be seen moving outside, their presence palpable, but for now, they are safe. Avia watches him, her purple eyes studying him more closely than before. In the glow of the storm's fury, a silent understanding passes between them, deeper than either of them expected. The storm rages outside, but within the shelter, an eerie stillness settles over the room. The air feels heavy with the remnants of the tempest that has passed, thick with the scent of wet stone and the lingering crackle of static. The metallic hum of the storm fades away, and all that remains is the sound of their breathing, deep and measured. The shelter, once a refuge from the deadly creatures outside, now stands as a quiet witness to the storm's fury. As the wind outside begins to lose its intensity, the clouds part, revealing the first rays of dawn, casting an ethereal light into the shelter. The alien landscape outside is transformed, once menacing, now serene under the delicate light of the new day. The remnants of the storm cling to the earth, puddles of acidic rain reflecting the sky's sudden calm. A deep, misty fog rises from the wet ground, giving the environment an almost ghostly, otherworldly appearance. Avia steps out first, her boots sinking slightly into the damp, soft ground. She breathes in the cool air, feeling the weight of the recent battle lift as she gazes at the horizon, where the first light glimmers. The alien world, once dark and foreboding, now appears more inviting, like a new world waiting to be discovered. The air is thick with the scent of ozone, mingled with the earthy aroma of the alien flora. There's a deep silence here now, broken only by the distant calls of creatures, still too cautious to venture near. Drake steps out behind her, his body stiff from the battle but his gaze sharp, surveying the landscape as if expecting more dangers to surface at any moment. His armor is dented, scratched, but the scars only seem to add to his rugged appearance, the marks of a man who has survived where others might have fallen. Avia, glancing at him, her voice quiet, yet filled with sincerity. "You've changed everything I thought I knew about humans." Her words, soft but heavy with meaning, hang in the air between them. There's something unspoken, an understanding that has bloomed between them in the chaos of battle and survival. Her eyes, glowing with the fire of both admiration and something deeper, meet his with an intensity that matches the weight of her words. She studies him, her gaze soft but searching. Shrike, pausing, meeting her gaze with a slow smile. "And you've changed everything for me too." The unspoken connection between them deepens in this shared moment, as though they both recognize that something more than mere survival has transpired. The very air around them hums with the energy of that unvoiced bond. They are not simply allies anymore. They are something else entirely, two forces, woven together by the shared trials of this strange, dangerous world. Avia's breath catches slightly, her lips parting just enough to reveal a flicker of hesitation, a vulnerability she's rarely shown. But it vanishes as quickly as it appears, replaced by the cool, collected focus of a warrior who knows what comes next. The storm might be over, but the battle is far from finished. Side by side, they begin to walk toward the horizon, the world stretching out before them like an unwritten page. The alien planet, though full of danger and uncertainty, has become a shared canvas for their journey. The ground beneath their feet is soft, yet the steady rhythm of their steps speaks volumes. Two beings, forged by hardship and now bound by something more powerful. The landscape around them shifts as they move, the mist from the storm curling away like smoke, revealing the towering rock formations and strange, glowing flora that dot the alien terrain. The ground is covered in a dense blanket of moss, soft and spongy beneath their feet. The sky overhead, once dark and threatening, has now turned a pale violet, with swirling clouds that shift in ways the human mind can barely comprehend. The temperature drops slightly, the air cooler now that the storm has passed, and a faint, sweet fragrance of blooming alien flowers floats on the breeze. Their connection is undeniable as they move through the strange world together, their movements synchronized in a way that feels almost instinctual. The bond they share is no longer just one of necessity. It's something deeper, forged through the fire of battle and tested by the dangers of the alien planet. They are not just surviving anymore, they are thriving, together. There's a quiet understanding between them now, a knowing that no matter what challenges come next, they will face them together. The wild unknown of the planet still stretches ahead, full of monsters and mysteries, but now they are a force to be reckoned with. Together, they will conquer the darkness that surrounds them. The air is thick with tension as the camera hones in on Drake and Avia, standing at the front of a makeshift battle formation. The alien landscape stretches out behind them, darkened by the encroaching threat of the Shadow Stalker pack. The ground beneath their boots is slick with moisture, and the trees gnarled and alien sway uneasily in the gusting wind. The faintest hint of violet light from the distant sun begins to fade, leaving the planet's surface cloaked in an unnatural twilight. The team of Nixon warriors, battle-hardened and fierce, stands with weapons drawn, their eyes trained on the dark horizon. There's an almost palpable unease as they await the incoming assault. Their movements are tense, prepared but not yet fully aware of the full extent of the danger that's coming. The camera pans to Drake, his face a mask of focused determination. His eyes flick to Avia beside him, her posture poised and ready, her purple eyes gleaming with an intensity that matches the gravity of the situation. Drake, his voice sharp and commanding, cutting through the growing fear. Remember, they think they're the apex predators. Let's show them who's really on top. His voice is a calm whisper, yet it carries with the force of a hurricane, resonating with every warrior around him. His confidence ripples through the group, lending them a sense of calm amidst the chaos that is about to unfold. From the darkness, the first growl of the Shadow Stalkers ripples through the air low and menacing. The sound travels, reverberating through the underbrush, an eerie reminder of the creature's hunger. Their glowing eyes pierce the darkness, pinpricks of light in the shadow-drenched forest. The pack, larger and more coordinated than before, slithers forward, emerging from the murk with terrifying precision. The Shadow Stalkers, now emboldened by their previous victories, move with an eerie intelligence. Their dark, obsidian scales shimmer in the dim light, and the tips of their quills seem to hum with deadly energy. They move not as individual hunters, but as a cohesive unit, their movements synchronized and deliberate. It's a new tactic, one that takes into account the battlefield, calculating each move with near-perfect strategy. Drake's eyes flicker over the scene. His mind runs through every possibility, his hand instinctively grasping the hilt of his plasma pistol. He nods to Avia, who stands a few steps away, her combat stance precise, her focus unwavering. With a sudden, bone-chilling howl, the Shadow Stalkers charge. Drake doesn't hesitate. With a shout, he signals to his warriors, his voice cutting through the rising cacophony of growls and the thundering footsteps of the creatures. Drake, shouting to his team, "Form up. Keep tight. We push them into the kill zone." The battle erupts in a frenzy of motion. Plasma bolts sizzle through the air, striking the first of the Shadow Stalkers as they close in. The creatures recoil, hissing, but they do not falter. Their coordinated assault comes with terrifying speed. But Drake's tactics, honed from years of hunting apex predators, are flawless. He directs his team with military precision, using the terrain to their advantage. As the creatures attempt to flank them, Drake signals to Avia, who moves with lethal grace, cutting down one of the shadow stalkers in a swift, calculated motion. Her blade slices through its armor like scales, her movements fluid and almost instinctual. The others follow suit, pushing back the creatures, who struggle to keep their advantage. The battle reaches a fever pitch, but through careful planning and unmatched teamwork, Drake's strategy begins to pay off. One by one, the shadow stalkers fall, their bodies collapsing with sickening thuds against the ground. The pack's coordination falters, their confidence shattered by the relentless assault from the humans and Nixon warriors. With a final cry, the last of the shadow stalkers falls, its glowing eyes flickering out as it crashes to the ground. Silence falls. The only sound is the heavy breathing of the victorious warriors, the crackling of distant fires, and the soft hiss of cooling weapons. The battle has ended, but the air still buzzes with the energy of the confrontation. The once deadly night is now quiet, and in its place, a calm, almost sacred stillness settles over the battlefield. The shadow stalkers, once feared, now lie defeated. The warriors, bloodied but victorious, stand tall, their eyes gleaming with the shared triumph of their hard-won victory. Drake and Avia stand amidst the wreckage, their bodies weary but their spirits unbroken. The tension of the fight fades as they share a quiet moment, the weight of the battle still hanging in the air between them. The horizon, which had once been a backdrop of looming danger, now holds the promise of a new beginning. The first light of dawn creeps over the battlefield, painting the world in soft shades of gold and crimson. Drake turns to Avia, his gaze softer now, his earlier intensity tempered by the aftermath of their victory. He studies her for a moment, his thoughts running deeper than words can express. She, too, stands still, her eyes lingering on him, the connection between them undeniable. Drake, his voice low, almost reflective. So, what now? Avia smiles, a slow, knowing curve of her lips that speaks of both strength and vulnerability. She steps closer to him, her eyes locking with his, as if seeing him for the first time through a new lens, a lens that now knows no boundaries. Avia, her voice warm with a quiet certainty. Now, we make sure the world knows that humans and Nixons make the perfect team. And maybe, we start a new chapter. Without a word, Drake pulls her closer, and they share a kiss that speaks of everything they've fought for, everything they've overcome, and everything that lies ahead. The camera pulls away, capturing the couple standing together, bathed in the first light of a new dawn. Narrator, Drake's voice, carrying a sense of finality and pride. Some predators hunt alone. Some hunt in packs. But humans? We've evolved to be better. And when we work together, there's nothing we can't conquer. The scene fades to black, the sound of the wind and distant creatures slowly blending into the quiet of the new day. In these scenes, the battle with the Shadow Stalker pack is both a physical and emotional turning point for Drake and Avia. Their tactical brilliance, forged through experience and collaboration, gives them an upper hand in the chaos. The intensity of the battle is matched by the quiet moments afterward, where the bond between the two deepens, signifying not only the defeat of the creatures but also the beginning of a new, united chapter in their journey. The descriptions aim to paint a vivid picture of both the action and the growing connection between the characters. The battlefield lies still in the aftermath of the fierce battle. The once thriving alien landscape, now scarred by the violent clash, has settled into a hushed silence. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth and burnt vegetation, the smoke from the battle's aftermath hanging lazily in the air, curling and twisting like forgotten ghosts. The planet, in its strange, alien beauty, has quieted, as if it, too, feels the weight of the confrontation. Amidst the broken ground and fallen predators, Liam and Avia stand side by side, their bodies battered but their spirits unbroken. The sun, now rising higher in the sky, bathes them in a soft, warm light, contrasting the harshness of the battle. The gentle glow of the alien horizon paints them in shades of gold and crimson, a stark contrast to the violence they just faced. Liam's hand is gently resting on the hilt of his blade, his posture relaxed but still alert. Avia stands next to him, her form steady and graceful, the quiet strength of her warrior spirit evident in every movement. They stand there for a long moment, neither speaking, both lost in their thoughts, the weight of what they've just endured settling between them. Avia, her voice soft and almost hesitant, as if the words are unsure of their own existence. You make me question everything I thought I knew, about humans, about myself. The words hang in the air between them, fragile but powerful. Avia's eyes, once filled with doubt and skepticism, now carry something more, something deeper, more understanding. Her voice trembles slightly as she speaks, as though acknowledging the internal shift that has taken place, not only in her perception of humans but in the bond that has grown between them. Liam, his expression softening, turns to face her fully. The weight of his gaze, tender and full of unspoken affection, meets her eyes. His lips twitch into a small, genuine smile as he steps closer to her, the distance between them shrinking with every passing heartbeat. Liam, his voice low and sincere, with a warmth that speaks of shared experiences. We've both changed. And I wouldn't trade this for anything. There's a moment of stillness, a breath drawn deep in the air, as if the entire world pauses in recognition of what has transpired. They are no longer two strangers caught in a war of survival, they have become something more. They share a bond that transcends their differences, a bond forged through trust, survival, and the quiet understanding that now passes between them. Without another word, their lips meet in a passionate kiss, one that speaks of the trials they've faced, the battles they've won, and the quiet strength they've found in each other. The kiss is slow, lingering, as if they are trying to savor the fleeting moment, to make it last forever. The weight of their shared experiences settles around them like a cloak, deepening the connection between them. The sun has fully risen, casting its golden light across the alien landscape. The air is still thick with the remnants of the storm, but the tension has eased. The world around them feels calm now, as if it has accepted the outcome of the battle, as if it knows that the two beings standing together have emerged victorious not just in the fight, but in something more profound. Liam stands at the edge of the camp, staring at the horizon, his thoughts drifting between Earth and the new life he has found on this distant planet. His mind is clouded with the weight of the message he just received, a summons to return to Earth, to report back to his superiors. The call from Earth is like a tether pulling him away from the life he has built here, but as his eyes linger on the distant horizon, his resolve hardens. Avia approaches him, her movements quiet but determined. She stands beside him, her presence a calming force, and for a moment, neither of them speaks. The silence between them is not uncomfortable but filled with unspoken understanding, a shared acknowledgement that things have changed between them, irrevocably. Avia, her voice uncertain, yet soft, as if unsure of the future they now face. What will you do now? Her eyes, filled with concern and something deeper, look at him, seeking an answer. There is a flicker of vulnerability in her expression, a fear of what might happen when the world outside this place comes knocking again. Liam turns to her, the uncertainty of the message from Earth still lingering in his mind. but it's her, the one standing beside him, that he focuses on. His eyes meet hers with a clarity that comes from knowing exactly what he wants, despite the chaos of the world. Liam, his voice steady and resolute, without hesitation. I'm staying. With you. This is where I belong. Avia's lips curve into a soft, knowing smile, her eyes shimmering with a warmth that echoes his. She reaches out, her hand finding his, the touch gentle yet firm. Her earlier uncertainty melts away as she realizes that the path forward is clear. Together, they will face whatever comes next. Avia, smiling softly, her voice filled with quiet confidence. Then let's show Earth what we've become together. They stand there, hand in hand, as the first rays of the sun illuminate the world around them. The alien landscape, once a place of fear and uncertainty, now feels like home. Together, they walk forward, ready to face whatever challenges the future holds, no longer as two separate beings, but as one unified force. The camera pulls back, capturing the two of them walking side by side, silhouetted against the glowing horizon. The planet, vast and full of mystery, stretches out before them, an unknown future, but one they will face together. They are no longer bound by the past, they are bound by the present, by the connection they've forged in the fires of battle and the bond of trust that now defines them. Narrator, Drake's voice, resonant and filled with quiet strength. Some predators hunt alone. Some hunt in packs. But humans, we've evolved to be better. And when we work together, there's nothing we can't conquer. The camera lingers on the two of them, hand in hand, as they disappear into the distance, ready to conquer whatever awaits them, side by side. Thank you for joining us on this mind-bending adventure at the UFO Enigma. If what you've seen today left you questioning everything, then we've done our job. Leave a comment below. What's your take on the mysteries we've uncovered? Is there an alien world out there waiting for us, or are we the ones being watched? We'll be back with more astonishing stories that will push the boundaries of your imagination. So stay tuned, keep your eyes on the sky, and remember, the enigma is just beginning to unfold. Until next time, stay curious and never stop seeking the truth.